I'm connected to Kawainui Marsh as just a Kailua resident, and our families are from Kailua, so through my past lives as my ancestors, those are my connections. It's changed over time. I started volunteering here, just pulling out invasive plants about maybe several years ago, and then I recently joined Ahahui Malama i Kalokahi officially as part of the board of directors. So that is my connection to Kawainui Marsh. I go through the Hawaiian language newspapers, and in those newspapers I come across many articles of how Kailua was prized by the Ali'i because of its two waters, because of Kawainui and Ka'elepulu. And if you see Kailua now, just from that perspective, there's no water there's hardly any water in Kawainui, and there's definitely hardly any water in Ka'elepulu. So those were the two main resources of food and everything, and now it's nothing. I think we have to remind ourselves that we need our water, right? Because that is the foundation for the ecosystem, which is the foundation for the plants and the birds and the animals, which we are included in the animals of the ecosystem. So when our ecosystems get degraded, and yes, ecosystems change over time, but when it changes kind of exponentially due to man's great ideas and they try to tweak things, then our climate changes, our whole environment changes, our islands change. And everyone comes here because it's a beautiful environment and you have beaches and ocean and all that kind of stuff, but really everything we do every day is just degrading our ecosystem. So unless we make it part of our consciousness and part of our intent to not only maintain our ecosystems, but enable our ecosystems to thrive, then we can truly thrive. I mean, we think it's great now that we have our oceans and our mountains, but we drive our cars every day. That is just making the climate hotter, and we eat out of styrofoam and plastic, which just goes into the ocean. So really, where are our values? And we need to bring that to our consciousness to be like, okay, do you really value how beautiful Hawaii is? Well, there's little to large contributions that we can do to help her thrive even greater, because right now it's kind of at a low point. So one of my hopes for Kawainui is that as a collective, as a whole, we're just not individuals. It will raise our consciousness about our environment. Because if you look at Kawainui now, to me it's a dump. To most people it's a dump. They call it dump road, but no, that's Kawainui. But there's no white anymore, so people forget that it's Kawainui, and people just know it as a dump. And then so without a harmonious relationship with our environment, we cannot thrive. We cannot thrive if Kawainui is just a dump, because Kawainui, one, is the Pico. This was a volcano. Two, this was a food resource. People, you can eat from here, right? We forget that we can eat from the land. We just eat from the stores. But so if we can remind people and even show an example that to restore Kawainui from being now just a mat of grass and place where people drop off their rubbish, and then we can see how we can participate with the land to help it thrive again, and then people will see that once the land thrives again, we thrive again, and then our consciousness and our intent will all together lift, and we will start participating with the land again and start being stewards instead of just, pillagers. So Kawainui is an example that we can't just let our environment go, because whether we like it or not, man has done things to intervene with the environment to make it, in my opinion, unnatural. I mean, you divert water, you change the ecosystem. So we have to stand upon an intent to not only restore the ecosystem to how it was, but help it thrive again to a higher peak. And then we can all thrive. And then we think we enjoy the beauty of Hawaii now. Imagine how we'll enjoy the beauty of Hawaii when we're actually participating with the environment and in harmony and aligned with her, and not just, taking and taking and taking and pillaging and then we'll have nothing. Because if we don't restore, if we don't participate and have aloha i ka aina, like how we are as natural humans, then soon we won't have anything to celebrate. We won't have any beaches or any mountains. It'll just all be a desert. To have no plan for Kawainui is complacency, and complacency is what, we'll kill ourselves with that, and we'll kill everything around us with complacency. We must live intentionally, otherwise, what's the point? And my hope for Kawainui is that not only will we restore its abundance and its water, but we will remember the stories of our land in this place, and we will spark interest. And once we remember our stories, we'll be like, oh yeah, that's where I come from. Oh yeah, this is what I stand upon.